Do
Oh,
do
you're right. I
QuickBooks.
can. We can put
Do Spider.
chatbot
Do
on a
QuickBooks.
spider.
Spider.
Dude, we can definitely put chatbot on the spider.
Welcome to the Dorkcast, episode 64, Dorkfit. In this episode, we invite in Denise Devine from Steel Toe Consulting, and we talk about fitness. No, not fitness whole pizza in my mouth, but the different activities we enjoy to stay active and how it's not just about physical health, but how it keeps us mentally and emotionally well. It did seem fitting with May being Mental Health Awareness Month. As mentioned in the episode, feel free to contact us if you need a little support in your own fitness journey. Enjoy!
And we're live. Yeah, we're finally back again. The Construction Dorkcast here for episode 64, Dorkfit. We welcome in Denise Devine she's now with Steel Toe, so she's our special guest this week. Hopefully we'll get back to something normal here. We can say this week. So Jonathan Marsh, why don't you kick us off and introduce what you're drinking and what you got going on lately?
Right on, right on. So I thought it would be really, really bad if I didn't do a workout for the sake of doing the podcast. So I just came back from my workout like literally 15, 20 minutes ago. But I didn't think that was an excuse not to have a drink either. So I'm doing Japanese whiskey and I'm doing a Hakushu 12. And this is actually left over from Suhu, who sent me this. Kevin Suhu got me interested in Japanese whiskey. This is clearly my number one pick for Japanese whiskey across the board. It's like a really mild Scotch. It's tough to get. I can't find it anywhere in Pennsylvania, but Kevin was nice enough to set me up with a bottle. What are we drinking today, Travis?
Well, I am sticking with the theme of this episode of Dork Fit. I'm trying to stay fit. It also does help that I have
So
to
am I.
go coach softball after this. So they do tend to frown upon you showing up, a couple of whiskeys deep when you're doing that kind of stuff. So I've just got good old fashioned small town well water, nice and cool and crisp. What about you, Trent?
I'm rolling with the water as well. So, and we'll maybe get into it too in the
Yeah, I think that
episode.
we
But
should.
I'm on a little bit of a journey as well, kind of relating to the dork fit thing. So, yeah, and I'll save that for a little bit into the episode. But it's water for me at least for 31 more days. So
31 more days.
I think that's the count where we're at the moment. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, but who's counting, right?
yeah, right. No, yeah, literally I'm counting. No, but what about you, Denise?
I'm sticking with the fit theme too, I guess. I've got a Celsius little energy drink, mango flavor.
I love
I have
mango.
a 2-hour drive, otherwise I'd be on Jonathan's train there.
2 hours. That's a pretty hefty drive.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so as we said, the title of this episode is Dork Fit, and to give everybody a little background on that, we're following up our, unfortunately last month's podcast with Christina on burnout, and this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if anybody hasn't heard it before, one of the things that I've often hear quoted quite a bit is exercise is the least prescribed yet most effective antidote to things like depression and anxiety. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think most people would agree that if you exercise, you feel great, and it helps those things out. So in that theme, we were going to kind of share some stories, share a little bit of our backgrounds, what we're going on that. We have created a little group here called Dork Fit. That's how I got introduced to Denise, and she's probably our biggest champion, cheerleader, supporter on there, cheering everybody on with what we do. So Denise, why don't you take a moment here to introduce yourself a little bit more? I think you've got some fun fitness journey behind you as well.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. So my name's Denise Devine. As mentioned, I'm one of the newer partners with Steel Toe, but I'm also the operations strategist. So my background is primarily in consulting, and I've done a lot of training programs. I started that back in 2013 cross industry. So I've worked with like automotive, big data, real estate, tech, finance. In 2021, I joined the construction industry as the operations and business development lead in an electrical contractor located in SoCal. And then after that, my journey led me to Jonathan's team. So that's where I currently stand. As far as my fitness journey goes, the reason I'm on the Dorkfits is because I am trying to get back into bodybuilding. So I started bodybuilding in 2017, and I had people. It's pretty interesting. I wasn't like proactively pursuing it, but I kept getting really master level trainers just wanting to work with me, and so it was like an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And so that really kicked off probably my fit journey, the strongest. Prior to that, I was like a vegan yoga master, so it's quite the transition. But yeah, these days I'm just trying to keep moving and get some of my strength back and enjoy those benefits of that core strength and, like you said, mental health and all of that.
Travis, I knew I was going to be curious when like we first have Denise coming on board. We don't know anything about her background, and we're talking, and I mentioned that I didn't get enough protein that day, and she keyed off on the protein, and I was like, oh, well, why are you a health person? And then like it wasn't too long before she's like, yeah, I used to bodybuild. You know, it's like
right.
she
just casually mentioned.
It's one of those tells, right?
Everyone does it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've definitely built a body. I don't know if maybe not in the same sense. Currently working on trying to unbuild the body I've built. But yeah, that's I think that's part of what we're talking about a little bit. Like, the construction industry, I guess, where I came from in it too was I came from the field, which was obviously a little more of an active lifestyle, actually working with tools at first. And then as you work into personnel management and then eventually into the office setting, and then, through project management and then into the technology realm, that activity level basically went from 7, 8 to 0, like overnight. So, I didn't accept the transition in a way that I really should have, I think, because you're kind of used to that, that movement, just the subtle movement when you're in the field working. I mean, I think you take for granted how much that really adds up in the course of the day. And then when you just cold turkey, shut that off to take on an office lifestyle, I didn't augment that lifestyle with exercise the way I should have, and it's kind of shame on me because I knew better. Travis and I have military, come from the military. And so all of the knowledge and the building blocks to stay fit are in my head. Like I know exactly what I have to do, but it was kind of shame on me to not recognize, those things and kind of let them go to the wayside. And boy, oh boy, how quick it can hit you. We're coming into the office, and I mean, within 4, 5, 6 years, you look at like and you don't really realize how bad it gets. I think it's just the subtle changes, you don't notice day to day. Right. Like when your body's changing just a little bit every day, you wake up and you see yourself every day, and then we tend to notice big changes, but we don't notice the subtle ones.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was going to say, those, because I've had a pretty long fitness journey myself, and a lot of people ask for advice, and they're like, I'm not seeing any changes. And what I've heard said a lot is, other people are going to notice it first, and it's usually within the first 3 weeks. And it's the same the other way. And, you don't notice the gradual changes because you see yourself every day. You're probably not going to notice any physical changes when you start to work to get in shape. You're probably not going to notice them for months, but other people around you are going to notice them much quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think the big one was looking, photo looking at photos like old, I mean, and I think there is important, and part of the journey I'm on is taking a progress photo every day. It's part of the thing, so because I think it gives you the ability to look back in that time capsule too, to see those macro changes,
Mhm.
because every day is not noticeable. But if I look at a photo, 40 days ago to today, I'm like, okay, all right, now I know why we're doing this, right? But you're not going to see it, every single day, but over a month, 2 months, and those mental wins are huge. I mean, I think that's what we're all result driven, just like in work.
Right.
I mean, we're result driven individuals. I mean, we want to see the fruit of our labor, whether it's in work or workout or anything. So
Yeah. I have to comment. It definitely shows your military background as you use your knife hands.
some habits just can't
they just
die,
don't.
man.
They just don't die.
Some things are beat into you so heavily. No matter how bad you want them to go away, they
Yeah.
won't.
So yeah, from here I'll share a little bit about again kind of my background and journey, and then I think it ties a little bit into what kind of got Jonathan kicked off again. So like Trent said, I live in a small town, multi-sport athlete all the way through high school. Just kind of a farm boy, just always been naturally active, and then spent my time in the military. Now, when I did the military, I was National Guard. So it was a little bit of a benefit. I was doing desk job stuff, but I had the physical requirement. So working out just became naturally part of that. And I think what most of us gym bros would classify as we were all bodybuilders, like, sets of 10, sets of 12, high rep, that kind of stuff. Then same as Trent was mentioned about just being sedentary a lot. I was just trying to keep moving and moving and moving. And then a National Guard became very active National Guard. Some pesky wars and things started to crop
Something
up.
happened.
Something happened.
Yeah.
And about 6-8 months into a tour in Iraq, I was starting to come off of I was a military police officer, so we did a lot of patrol work, a lot of sitting in a vehicle, a lot of not eating great meals and whatever. And I actually dropped about 40 pounds over there. And in that time frame, just the jarring and the gear and everything like that kind of took a toll on my body. And I would come off of these patrols and whatever, and I kind of couldn't feel my legs. Well, end up getting medically discharged through because of disc problems, back problems, pressing on my nerves in my back, and did through the military. They did a great job of taking care of me. I had about a little bit more than a year at different medical facilities as they do their process to get me all the way through to be fully medically discharged. And through all the physical therapy and everything like that, I kind of got back to, a baseline level where I was functional, probably wasn't fit for duty other than like desk work. And I wasn't really interested in sticking around the military for that. So when they discharged me and I started getting into the VA program, I kind of just said, what are my limitations? And one of the doctors just says, if it hurts, stop doing it. And pretty much the next day I signed up for a gym because I hadn't been working out for a while. And it just so happened the local gym that I signed up for kind of had, a elite level power lifter running it. And next thing I know, I am powerlifting, and probably maybe even less than a year into that, I'm doing my first powerlifting competition, and then I was hooked. So that's kind of been, it's been over 10 years since that's even happened. So that's kind of been the focus. It's not always the best from a purely health standpoint, as I'm sure Denise probably knows from her bodybuilding days as well. They say, ass moves mass. So some of it was just trying to get as big as I could within the weight classes I could. So I would be kind of bloated at times and whatnot. But it was very focused on just getting as strong as I could. But to the comments before, like, it really helped my mental health. I had focus goals. I had targets that I set for like a period of time I was going to go compete. It took a lot of discipline. Like, it's kind of like wrestling. I would compete in the 181 weight class, but I would typically walk around in the low 190s. So I would have some weight to cut. Not a lot, but it still sucked. And then that's kind of how I got known. I gave myself the moniker on different social media as the powerlifting nerd, because I got super into powerlifting, got super into the health and fitness, consumed a lot of podcasts and whatever. And one of them just happened to be from some general ones that have a company called Juggernaut. And then through my transition into construction and meeting John, I kind of texted John maybe a link to an app or something that kind of got him kicked off. John?
And I'd love to talk about that. So I looked it up on our Slack because I wanted to know when. So I was going, it was April 19th, 2021. And he shot me a little Slack that says, I think you'll like this workout app. And if you know me, I'm obsessive, but it's not long-term obsessions, and they're all technology driven. What I thought was really interesting is if you look at both Denise and Travis's story, the reason that they got into it, and so both of them are both basically coaches. Denise coaches people, Travis coaches everyone around him, really. But they're basically coaches, and it inspired them to sort of. It was coaches that inspired them to get into this. For me, it really was the Juggernaut technology. I never had confidence that what I was doing in the gym was going to give me results. Okay. So I would try and then I'd stop. So I try 2 weeks, 3 weeks, get hurt, stop. Try 2 weeks, 3 weeks, get hurt, stop. He sends me this Juggernaut app. First, it's like $40 a month. So I kind of was like, okay, well, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this, but your medical bills will be way more than $40 because you've been in VDC for, at the time, I guess 2001, that makes me 46. So I was 46 when I started weightlifting. And before that, all I had is bits and starts. I'm like Travis, I live in the country, so I'm a farm boy. So I had to split lumber and all that. And that gives you some level of help. But I also live in a place where it gets snowy for 6 to 8 months a year. So you can't go outside. You can't do those things. And I've seen videos of myself at 40 through 45. And I kind of wish I could go back to the internet and delete all those. Because first, I look 10 years older than I look today. And I'm really unhealthy. I even look like I'm losing more hair in those for some odd reason. I got eczema, but Travis got me on the Juggernaut. And my wife's been weightlifting for years. She really is into it. So I had all the equipment. I had to buy some extra weights, not until I was doing Juggernaut for a while. And Juggernaut was super punishing. It's like an hour and a half workout, 3 to 4 days a week, depending on what your cadence is. But I had never really done that. And I started to see changes after 6 weeks. I never changed my weight. I am still, I think I finally changed my weight. I think I'm finally down to like 213. And I think I started at 223, but I remained at 223 and just changed clothes sizes. So it was really interesting. I think the reason I was so psyched for us to talk about it was first because the reason I could do it is I had a digital coach that wasn't available before now, that literally looked at what I was doing, looked at the reps I had in reserve, the reps I thought I could do, and it made changes to my fitness regimen as I was going. And so I could feel the changes, I could see the progressions, I could trust, because I have a lot of trust in technology, that it was going to get me where I wanted to be. And it really did change my life. And I'll tell you, I think it actually saved me. A year after starting, I fell down a cliff and I landed on my back. I like bounced off the cliff, landed on my back, and I call up everybody and I'm like, I'm gonna be out of it for a while. And I thought I was gonna be out of it all summer because this has happened before. I was out of it for about a month, about 30, 35 days.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was back to weightlifting and I'm like, what in the world? I was like, what is this strange magic? Like you said, the best medicine that no one prescribes. And it got me thinking, especially coming off of Christina. We have a bunch of people sitting in VDC and the guys in the field get all of this feedback that says we need to be safe. We need to be safe. We need to be healthy. But we don't say that to the people sitting in front of a computer 12
Mhm.
hours a day, high stress job, all of them gaining weight. Like Trent said, I mean, we've had people come in from the field and blow up 20 pounds in a month and a
20.
half.
20 would have been a blessing for me. It was a lot. It's a lot, people. Like, seriously. I mean, it was more like 40 to 50 for me. It was insane. I mean, yeah. And
And we
I
don't warn
I let
you.
it go way too long. And
Right.
the stress of it, I think the stress of it, like John brought up, this industry is really quick, really fast moving. There are wins, but probably not enough of them. And the wins aren't celebrated. It's they're expected, you know, and that is the way it is. But it's important to understand that. And it just, if you don't find a balance and you don't find a way, you know, to keep your tools sharp, yourself, I mean, it will do things. And I got to a point that was really bad. And I'll tell you, like, now I'm the best I've felt in years. It's great. Finally kind of feel like I'm back to myself. I'm performing higher, like, even professionally, even, you know, just doing more, getting more done, feeling better, sleeping better. And it's been really good. I'll be quick because I want Denise to speak too, but what I'm doing, if you check it out, it's 75hard.com is what so I'm on day 46, 75 days. And it's not really like a workout program. It's a mental toughness, like it's almost kind of like a rewire. It's a like a habit generator. I mean, it's trying to reprogram myself with better habits. So, and when I say that, it's not the habit I was in for the past 4 years of, you know, working my ass off, coming home, eating and drinking and going, you know, like trying to break that habit, right? Which is, which I know I'm not alone in that in this industry. I know I'm not the only one that falls into that. And so for this, it was like, it's a 75-day commitment to, and part of the commitment is no alcohol for that amount of time. And that's part of just the, you know, being able to train yourself that isn't something that you have, like it isn't something that you have to have or have to do. So kind of reinforcing those habits. You know, it requires 2 45-minute workout sessions a day. One of them has to be outdoors. So I've been working out outside every day, drinking a gallon of water a day, reading 10 pages of nonfiction every day. That's part of it. And then taking a photo every day as well. So like a progress photo. So it has, you know, for me, just kind of like a shirtless photo, something that shows, you know, some kind of body change as it's going. So today's day 46. So what, about 30 more days or so. And yeah, down a little over 20 pounds in 46 days. And that's with pretty heavy weightlifting 3 days a week too. So, so not all that's hidden too with muscle generation. So it's been really good.
That's awesome.
I have to give a lot of credit to the program. You guys, it is one heck of a commitment though, but if anyone wants to check it out, it's 75hard.com. It's, and if you miss any, there is no, the other thing I should say is there is no compromise in the program. So if you miss any of those things at any day, anytime, you have to start over at day one. So it's not
wow.
there's no like, oh, I'm out here today, so I'm gonna get this beer because somebody took you. It teaches you to stay consistent and driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so doesn't mean I'm done drinking. I will, you know, that's not the point of it. The point of it is to learn that you don't have to, that, you know, reinforcing the good habits. So
you had told me you were doing that, and I checked it out, and I was like, there is no way I could do that. I don't know that I could
But you
get away
could,
with it
right?
for a week. I think I could, but man, I just admire your stick-to-itness in even getting to where you are today. And I actually am completely confident that you're going to get to the end, which is something I don't say about a lot of people is
agree.
there's little doubt in my mind that you will make it to the end. I do think I'm going to have to send you new clothing. But you know, that is, I had a quick question for Denise though, and it kind of piggybacks on some of the things that we were saying. You know, Denise, you said you started out as more of a holistic health person, doing the yoga, doing the running, and then you run into this weightlifting coach, and he starts working with you, or she starts working with you. What were some of the changes that you really saw, and what are some of the changes you experienced moving from sort of that health without weightlifting to health with weightlifting? Because I think all three of us are maybe the other way around. Like I would say that my holistic health lags way behind my weightlifting. And Travis made the more ass moves more mass. But how does it feel, you know, moving from holistic to moving from to that type of an exercise regimen, and what effect do you think it really had?
Yeah, it was actually it's pretty gnarly of a variant. So you know, back in, I think it was around 2011-ish or whatever, when I was moving, I was exercising. So you could say like my cardio was good. I felt light mentally and physically, if that makes sense. So like I didn't have a lot of back pain and that sort of thing. So I'd say those were benefits. However, I didn't realize that there were physical implications of that style, that lifestyle, that fitness style, until I started bodybuilding and realizing those benefits. So some of the changes when I started bodybuilding was, first off, I went from practically raw vegan, which I had energy when I was raw vegan. I had energy. I was able to think, like I wasn't like it wasn't bad, but you know, I was eating steaks and eggs and all the protein that I can get, like, you know, and then all the macros to go with it. And then I was, of course, doing a whole bodybuilding regime. But what I noticed most was things like doing the laundry, or, you know, I had a dog, and so I'd have like those 40-pound dog bags, carrying groceries, carrying dog bags. Like they would kill my back, and they were so difficult for me to do until I started bodybuilding. And then I realized that, you know, kind of like, I think it was Trent was talking about earlier, like just the basic life things that I needed to do started becoming easier because I had core strength that was way better than before. And I had overall just more like resilience kind of building. And I started feeling stronger and more confident because you go through, you know, you have to learn to overcome your mental and physical boundaries. And it hurts so bad when you're in the moment, you know. But when you push past that, and you can cry or whatever, but like if you push past that and you keep going, eventually your body starts building resilience to it, and it's a biochemical thing, and you feel that. I felt that in my life. You know, I felt that out when I started, just like in work, like even just mentally trying to process things at work. I just felt like my brain was stronger and more efficient, and my thoughts were better. And so for me, it was really an overall thing. It was really holistic benefit to start engaging in the bodybuilding, because not only did I have like the physical aesthetics, which were nice, you know, but the practical things like being able to do my house chores became easier. And then of course I was more efficient in my emotional management because I had that extra like stress resilience building up. I could just feel it in everything I did. So yeah, it was holistic for sure.
You and Travis, this is a question for maybe we'll start with you, Travis. You guys are both natural coaches anyways. All right. You just kind of, you cadence that way. You start doing it automatically. Do you guys ever like look at somebody and say, wow, I really wish I could talk to you about weightlifting, because I think that right now your physical health is probably something we should address, because you're not.
Travis, where were you all this time? Seriously though, like I guess that is a good topic though. Like, do you be a friend? I mean, somebody should have told me.
I think,
now,
and Denise,
it's on me, but yeah.
Denise can elaborate too. I think that to answer your question, yes. Like one of the things I am involved in locally is the volunteer fire department. When I got super hardcore in it, I would try to schedule nights where we would sit down and talk this stuff, and you know, not very many people would show up. there are people at work that, but I think that gym culture, if you've done a lot of public gyms, I think it's kind of beaten out of you because nobody likes unsolicited advice. And there's plenty of gym memes and videos out there, and I think that just kind of translates then into real life too. If you ask me about it in public, you're not going to get me to shut up. So that's the other side. If I can be in the break room at work, and so and so is talking about, yeah, I just started intermittent fasting. Okay, well, that's going to lead me into an hour. We're off and running. So those opportunities there. But I just think it's kind of twofold, and I'm hoping Denise will back me up when she gives her answer too. It's like, I don't want to continually give advice to people that aren't going to listen to it. I think that one of the things a lot of us don't do, and this goes right into mental health, is we don't value our own time and energy. So I think that, yes, early on, a lot of people would start asking, and then I would see them just do something completely opposite against once I advise. So I think that kind of taught me to not quite be so open with my advice if people aren't gonna adhere to it. Denise, have you experienced the same?
It's super difficult, right? I learned to hone it to your point, Travis, because unsolicited advice can be like one of the most offensive things. So
hey, you're a fat tub
I
of shit. Maybe you should pick something up every once in a while.
Yeah, but I respond to that. That would have helped me.
Some people,
some people do.
Tough love.
Yeah.
But you have to be really careful with that because it's boundaries and that sort of thing. But yeah, I would definitely. I had such a hard time with it for a while that I just started putting information out there that was regarding like fitness practices, healthy fitness practices, so that anyone can hear it. That way I could tell somebody because, you get to a point when you're so excited about it, you just start like overflowing with it. And then I just allowed people, if they liked it and they were interested in it, they could, ping me about it. So I tried to reverse the roles on it, but it was the other aspect to that would be like I'd be working with clients, the original intent being operations efficiency or optimizing, whatever within their company and employee optimization, that sort of stuff. But that frequently morphed into some sort of self-optimization because if you're feeling terrible, then you can't do your best and you can't think your best. Yeah. And so that ended up, we incorporate some sort of fitness kind of nutritional revamp or program. And that's when we got the best results.
What better investment in your business, right? That's like, so of course, John, Denise, and I, we're the three of us are partners, right? So, and we can all speak to this, but like the whole Dorkfit thing what better investment in our company than, the improvements of if
I love it.
If the three of us become sharper physically and mentally, how will that not make us a better performing company? There's just there's no way around it.
And if you're promoting it and your employees are into it, they're not only taking care of themselves, they've got friends and family and community that they're involved in. If they're better at that, they're going to have higher life satisfaction. Denise pounds balance all the time. They're going to have a better work-life balance. They're going to be happy. They're going to be better employees. Are you going to get 75 hours out of the week from them like you used to? No, but you're going to get much more out of the 60 that they're willing to give if you kind of free them up and to take care of themselves better.
Quality.
Like John, we have a programmer Alec that benches like 350 pounds. Complete not at your typical programmer. He's I'm inspired.
I'm scared, man. He's a beast. But and we have another. He brings us this other guy. He's like, hey, I wouldn't mind hiring this other guy. I said, well, how do you know him? He's like, oh, I know him from school. I've been programming for years. Oh, and I'm his trainer in the gym. And for me, is I gotta say, for me as somebody who's going to be the boss, I'm like, oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Like all of that's good. Like all of that's going to help. I didn't realize it though. I went out to Portland, Oregon. I'm walking through Dyna Electric's fab shop, and they show me this other room that they're building, and it's their weight room. And it is the weight room. Like I have a little area in my house. They have like the best weight room. So like
Wow.
some people are getting it on McKinstry, right?
Yeah, McKinstry
Do you
has
remember?
You're
Yep.
seeing it. You're seeing it more and more. And I mean,
Yeah.
investing, I think you're investing in your people. I mean, there is a certain level of company. I mean, I'm not saying like every small business is going to put a state of the art gym. I mean, it has to make sense financially, right? But
Right.
For sure.
what?
And
but,
I mean, you have to put some limits on it too. I mean, we haven't talked too much about some of the adverse effects of, people in especially in powerlifting and in bodybuilding that do end up with some body dysmorphia. And then all of a sudden they're in that gym 3-4 hours a day. Like there have to be some guardrails put on that kind of stuff too. There has to be some responsible monitoring there of that.
I feel like the word culture kind of
Mhm.
touches base on both ends of that, right? Like what sort of culture are you implementing in your company? I think if you do it right, you can really get, a healthy based supportive system so that people are motivated. But and I mean, and then maybe you have resources too, like psychology for your employees.
Right.
But yeah, I think
And
the support system is huge.
I have to say, I think one of the things that I worry most about, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, all three of you, is I worry about bringing it up because I spent a lot of my life as that guy in the chair who's out of shape, who I actually got to say, a lot of my health problems disappeared too with weightlifting, even eczema, which had been around for more than a decade.
pretty crazy.
Just kind
isn't
of
it?
Yeah, it's
disappeared.
crazy.
Yeah. But I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid to say, hey, would you like to take part in this at your own level? Because it's so hard to say at your own level. Like, would you
Yeah.
like to just, we have this little Dorkfit thing, or we have in our company something that we're encouraging, and we know that you're starting out at a lower level than all of these other people. Like, and it can be intimidating. Like Trent or Travis, you're intimidating. Trent, the level of discipline that it takes to do hard 75, somewhat intimidating. So, like, what do you guys think is an effective way that maybe you experienced or seen to get to some of those people that would really benefit from like the mental aspect, from the physical aspect, to get them started? Because I'd like to understand that better. I think I struggle with that because I'm always like, hey, I don't want to be the person that says you're unhealthy. I don't want to be the person that, but we know we are. Like, I guarantee you, when I was doing VDC and not working out, I would worry about had I kept doing that till now at this point. Like,
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
talking, it's embarrassing to even admit, but like tying your shoes being a struggle bad. I mean, like, guys, it got bad. Like, I mean, it's just to the level of,
I think the way it is difficult, like, I hate to say it and it sounds crude, but in the right group of people, fat shaming works. Like that's one way to work, but you have to have the right relationship for that. In another situation, it's like Denise was saying, you just got to keep putting it out there and hope the right people catch on. I think that one of the things that, I do hear that a lot is like, well, I can't do what so-and-so does. Well, you got to just do what you do. And I think that it
that's
kind of
not
goes
your competition, right?
right. Exactly.
Yeah. You're focusing on the wrong thing here.
That was one of the things that I always appealed to me about the sport of powerlifting is yes, there are competitions, but I'm really just trying to do better than I did last time. If I happen to have 2 or 3 other guys in my weight class, then it makes it a little bit more fun we kind of push each other. But everybody starts somewhere, and it's whether I'm not a huge fan of long distance running, but if that's your thing that gets you going, well, then you're competing yourself for time and miles. Then wherever you're at is where you're at. Tomorrow, you just have to try to be a little bit better than that.
Yeah,
and I think
the same way we measure the businesses, work we do. What's that measured mile? What's the KPI? It's all the same stuff we're talking. I mean, everybody has a baseline. Figure it out and continuous improvement. The same thing we preach on the tech side, construction side, that's all we're really after. So it's not about waking up tomorrow and lifting more than Travis, right? Now, 2 years from now, maybe, yeah. I mean, who knows where it takes you, but the goal is lifting more tomorrow than you did today, or doing, it's continuous improvement.
Yeah, I think those are all great points. And going back to our Dorkfit crew, just for the record, y'all were intimidating to me when I joined in. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't lifted in quite a while. I'm gonna pop in here with my 10s and 15-pound weights looking ridiculous. Like, but it didn't matter. Short after I started sharing my stuff, and nobody was weight shaming me for my low presses, and it just became super motivating, and my fitness routine just like really kicked up just because of that. Like, I will not skip a day because I want to post in there something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it depends on the culture. It depends, but the goal, right? Like, what is your goal? And I think that's a personal thing, talking about how do you inspire other people to join and how you ask other people. I think again, that's a really dynamic, difficult question because it totally depends on the people and the personality.
Mhm.
But most importantly, I think it's like, do they really want to do it? Can they have an emotional attachment to doing this thing? Like, whether it's finding a goal, be it, aesthetics or how they feel, or maybe they don't know, or they just want to be part of the culture. Like, you have to be able to tie into those things.
But I would agree. And I think that goal that what I found works really well. Because if you just say, I have a goal to get in shape, well, that's kind of ambiguous. Like, so then what I do is I encourage people, okay, you're interested in running. There's a 5K 6 months from now. You're interested in weightlifting. Maybe it's Olympic, maybe it's powerlifting, maybe it's bodybuilding, whatever. There's a competition 8 months from now. It doesn't mean you're going to go win, but if you set that as a goal, now you have a marker out there that you can work towards. Because like I said, just going to get in shape. A lot of people, I've seen so many people walk around the gym picking up a dumbbell and they'll like curl it, and then they walk over to the leg sled and they'll do a couple of pushes there, and then they'll kind of wander around to the cable machine, and then they leave. And it's
I've
like
been that person.
it's like, you didn't really, I mean, you're better than a certain percentage of the population, because at least you're doing something, but you're not really working towards anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I tell you what,
it gets hard.
One of the best things personally for me when I was doing the weightlifting was actually Todd Libby walked up to me the one day and we were talking, and he's like, well, John, you're a weightlifter now. And when he said that, I was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I've been weightlifting for like 12 months. I guess I am a weightlifter now. Like, I still feel like I still get to say that I'm having beginner's gains. Even at 48, I'm having beginner's gains. But, I think that idea, I think there was an idea for me, and I don't know if it was the same for you, that from outside the community, that this is not a community that's as welcoming as it is. Like you said, Travis, I've only met people like you. Alec, who is the guy that we're talking about, who can bench press anything. Like, he's the king of the bench at his thing. I've never seen him completely, but I asked his friends, and he's like, this boy is insanely huge. He was like, whatever you can do. And when we were on Dorkfit, everybody's posting what they're lifting. I was nervous about posting what I'm lifting. And I was trying to think of excuses, but everybody that I meet that's into this, the health and the happiness that they're having because they're not totally tired from lifting a basket or doing whatever their chores are, I think that comes through in their encouragement of others. And I would say to anybody out there that's like, you're doing the VDC every day, listen, there's going to be somebody. I missed him. His name was Zach. He worked at Spader. I could have asked him and he would have been like, I will help you train. Those people that are training, they dig it. They know what it's going to give you in terms of mental health, in terms of that physical high. I think they'll really help you. By the way, I want to give one more shout out to Spader that I didn't realize when I worked there. They started this yoga in the morning thing, and I had laughed. They're like, we have soft tissue injuries. All right. We got a problem with soft tissue injuries. We're going to do yoga in the morning. And their mechanic funniest hippie guy you've ever met. Wife does yoga. He decides to lead yoga. You cannot go to yoga without cracking up laughing because it's everybody in the entire fab shop standing out there trying to stand on one leg while they're pulling another leg up, while they're pulling their arm over their back. Dude, everybody cracked up, and it became
awesome.
one of my favorite parts of the day. So Spader, for soft tissue injuries, like, we're going to do yoga, and all of a sudden you have everybody laughing together. You have everybody that's a little bit better at waking up in the morning, a little bit better at sitting down during their day. And I give them huge props for that. I didn't realize it when I was there, but I realize it now that little change was dramatic for all of the people there. I have one more question for all of y'all, because I'm gonna let you guys answer. So you're all nerds. What's the best tech that you've experienced in weightlifting? I mean, I'm giving it to Juggernaut because it's the reason that I got going, and I'm going to go back to it probably as soon as the summer hits, because it is the most intensive thing that I've ever done. And then my second one is the guy from DPR, Gray, introduced me to the Whoop, which is like the most over the top obsessive tech you can have to monitor your body. It might actually not be a good thing. But what's some of the tech that you guys like? What's some of the nerd level stuff on the weightlifting side that you guys find cool? Trent, maybe start with you, man.
Well, I might have to second you on the Whoop. If you're someone like me who works in like in productivity dashboards and stuff, like the analytics behind the Whoop is it kind of like brings a lot of the stuff I nerd out to that game. I mean, it's like just the amount of data that it's pulling, and like some of it is just completely like, so it just reminds me of what we're doing like in the actual data space, because it's like it's just telling you things where you're like, well, do I need to know this? Yeah, I don't know, maybe, like, but you're tracking all these different trends, and then you can look at like the sleep stuff, John. Like every day so you can actually set like a customized journal. So when you wake up, you're actually telling it like all these little minuscule things that you may have done the day before. Like, I mean, just weird. It could be anything. I mean, I don't. And then you're kind of like filling out this custom, and then like months later, it's gonna like go back and be like, you actually slept better on the days that you didn't sleep in your own bed and you ran a humidifier, or you did like, I don't like all this weird, but like it'll catch those like those commonalities. So it's pretty cool. I think that I don't know, it's fairly, the device itself doesn't cost anything. It's like the subscription. I want to say it's probably like cheap, $250 a year, something like that. You just wear it, you have to charge it up, but it's, tracking heart rate and your sleep and breathing rates and body temperature. It's doing like all kinds of different things there. So that's pretty cool.
You never have to take it off. It charges
the way
while
it charges,
it's on.
the battery actually, you charge the little battery pack and then you slip it on. Yeah. So that's probably the coolest thing that I'm working with right now. Weightlifting wise, Travis is familiar. I'm just doing the Medi method, the strong lifts 5x5. It's been around forever. I used it in my military days. When I went from like a journey of fit, and then I went to like very unfit, and now I'm going to be fit again. There's no compromise. It's going to happen. So I'm like back in that same, I guess like back to stage one, I guess, before I lost it all. But I had done this one. It's far from techie. I mean, it's just heavy weights, the same. It's very repetitive program. So definitely not like a Juggernaut thing. It's not using any real the only analytics behind it is you're lifting 5 pounds more every time you do. I mean, that's the only real, the analytics is more weight. That's all we care about. So yeah. So I got to go with the Whoop if anyone's interested. I'm not like a big wearable guy. So like everybody does the Apple watches and all I hate smart watches. I'm not into it, but this is kind of my compromise. At least it doesn't have a screen.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, it's all embedded in so you're not staring at it all the time.
Cool.
Travis, what are you up?
Yeah, I mean, I always say the most effective piece of fitness equipment is the barbell. It's the one that the most effective ever created. But when I mean, if we're talking about nerding out, I would have to piggyback on the your comments about the juggernaut AI. I think that we talk a lot about in our industry the democratization of data and the model and this and that, the other thing. I think that this tech explosion has democratized the coach. I think that I have paid for coaching in the past, and there's very good coaches out there, but they always hit some sort of capacity, right? They can only take on so many clients, even virtually. Which I was doing on early on, and I always had a mantra in the back of my head that said, the person that has himself as a coach has an idiot for a coach. So so that's what got me kind of down the juggernaut path, and there's a lot of them now. I like the ones that have some intelligence built into them, that are they have you on a path, and then they will adjust that path based on your actual performance. I think I think what you're doing, Trent, is great because of where you're at, but at a certain point you're going to need something that you're going to hit a wall on that, and that needs to adjust to it. So it needs to have something a little more.
You mean you can't just add 15 pounds to your squat every week forever?
I shared a video in the Dorkfit of a guy that he only tries to PR every year on his birthday, he tries to PR. So he'll do 1 more pound of deadlift. And when you're 70 years old, adding a pound to your deadlift takes a lot of work. And that's my long-term fitness goals, to be able to keep doing something like that. So yeah, I mean, I would say too, if you're looking to, if you've got a little bit of money, and you're looking to build out a home gym, you really have to look at the stuff by Rogue Fitness. It's really good stuff. They're very inventive in the way that they can give you a full on hardcore garage type gym that collapses up and fits, and they have a lot of, they have Atlas stones too, which are just badass. So they have kind of run the gamut there. So a lot of their stuff is pretty cool.
Right? It's cool.
So Denise, techie.
For me, it was just my Apple Watch for a while. I'd use it to track just my heart rate, really. Make sure I was in the right range during my workouts and I wasn't slacking off for too long, kind of thing. But I do want to try the Whoop. You guys have enticed me, so I think I might join that bus there. And also because of you, Jonathan, you influenced me to use the Alpha program to track my exercises. I've been appreciating that. It's like incentive because I don't know. For one, I think it like has this little attribute when you complete your program. It like gives you stars, and it's like a little congratulations.
Yeah.
The gamification, right? That's a big deal.
Yes, totally. But one thing I would love, I don't know if it exists yet, but something to measure your physical form, like when you're moving and you're doing, so you're doing like a deadlift, like my hip could be a little off, and you're doing that for a whole year, and then you just screwed everything up.
This has like laser scanning written all over it. Somebody,
there are coaching programs
there
out there that you can do that'll compare your videotape and stuff like that, but they're like specific. I think they're pretty pricey. I've seen some, but a lot of it too is very human, like tracing the bar path in the video and everything like that. But they do have some of that stuff. I haven't looked at it in a while, but nothing like on your phone automatically.
If you're ever at a trade show, go check out Milwaukee. Milwaukee Tools and their ergonomic design of tools is pretty damn impressive. They have some stuff that should be there.
But there's got to be some kind of video evidence, that you can give along with data to a coach. I don't know, because like in the motorsport world, like, we would go out and lap, and like we have the data logger in the car, right? So it's tracking what gear you're in, when you're on the throttle, when you're on the brake, all of that stuff, and your speeds. And then the video in the car shows the road and your hands, right? So then we pull all that out, and it's data. So it's got the real-time car data with the video and then you give it to a coach and they
You know, Denise, you're making
tell
me
you,
think
like,
about it too, in what Trent just said. There used to be, I'd have to dig in. There used to be a collar for a barbell that you could put on that would track the path and the motion there. I don't know whatever happened to that. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of people that were tinkering with that kind of stuff. And
I know on Juggernaut, you can send in your video.
Mhm.
Have you done that, Trent? Because I did that a lot. My wife's really good at helping me with form, but
Yeah.
on Juggernaut, there's a little upload. You upload your video, and you'll get about 50 responses on your
form.
you get trolled. You get
There's some
like,
troll.
just a little bit, man, just a little bit.
You should quit everything. You suck. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll throw out two more quick things. They're kind of techie that I am enjoying and I'm dabbling with. I did buy relatively cheap off of Amazon infrared sauna. It's not your 190 degree sweat box, but the ambient temperature gets up to 120. But since it's infrared, like I'm roasting pretty good. I'm not going to spend the money on this, but there's a lot of cold plunges out there now that are in the $5,000 to $10,000 price range. Some of them actually swirl the water now to help fight the thermal barrier that your body puts up. I think I had an inflatable tub that no longer holds air, so I just bought another $60 tub. So I'll get back into my cold plunges. I'll be reporting those in the morning here pretty soon. Luckily, I live in an area where the groundwater stays around 40 to 45 degrees year round. So I'm not tough enough mentally yet to start adding ice to that. 40 to 5 degrees is plenty cold. So yeah,
I was gonna say, just go outside around here.
Jeez.
Apparently, there's a bunch of cognitive benefits to the cold plunge.
Oh yeah,
I can tell you.
That's what people-
I mean, I
a
still
lot of
drink
the
my
stuff I've
coffee.
been listening
Yeah,
to.
yeah. I drink my coffee in the morning, but the days I cold plunge, I feel fantastic. I like it's a lot like you hear about running. Like I absolutely hate doing it, but afterwards I feel better. I'm glad I did it.
I think I'm allergic to the cold. I appreciate
My wife has
the
said the same thing.
benefits.
You live in San
Yeah.
Diego.
I'm all
Oh,
for the
I mean,
saunas.
yeah.
Put me in a sauna. I got, it gets my lymphs going and my energy and a detox. It's epic. Put me in a cold situation. I tried to do a cold plunge recently in Mammoth. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. It hurt everything in my body. Not for me. I think anybody who can do that, awesome though. I'll put that up. Sure.
Well,
I want to throw one more.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say one more techie sort of thing that I can't live without because of bodybuilding. Massage guns. Do those count?
Yeah.
Oh, those
for sure.
Those count.
Those
Those
are
are great. Those are great.
Okay. Yeah. Those.
Yeah.
Just life changing. I feel like for me.
Yeah, I think that they are, and life changing. I think that as we're trying to bring this thing in for a landing, like I think that people do need to realize that you need to change your life. Balance, right, Denise? Balance.
Yep.
And that all things in moderation, including moderation, I say sometimes. So hopefully some people out there kind of get inspired. We're not. To Jonathan's point, we don't want to call anybody out, but we're here for everybody that wants to listen. I think that unless you tell me otherwise, if this is something that you'd like to start on your own personal journey, reach out to any of us. We're happy to share our stories even more. And Jonathan, I really appreciate you calling myself and Denise out as a coach. I don't always intentionally do that, but I guess maybe it's the old Boy Scout in me. Like I just try to leave everything better than what I found it. So hopefully that kind of keeps going.
Definitely my life has changed. Like I think my wife has noticed it. Everybody's noticed it. So I think what we're saying right now is that there's life change even for people. Like I started at 46. So that little excuse that you have of you're too old, if that's anywhere close to 40, or if you have kids, I got 3. All right. So like, kids and old, and was completely out of shape. If you don't believe me, go watch videos of me and Josh Bone. It's pretty embarrassing for me. But I think what I'd like to leave everybody with is just a real a real consciousness of everybody that works for them. So, we're doing this, and all of us are at a point in our career where I think that we've elevated ourselves. But there are people working for you that don't feel they have the time to do this. They don't feel they can do this. Like, I've had people ask me, should I keep my phone on during workouts? All of these things. Take that idea that that health is good and use it as management too, and say, listen, I know this is good for you. I would like you to get up from the damn computer and away from this coordination for just an hour, go work out, and then come back, because I'm going to get better work out of you. And that's totally greedy, and I just want better production numbers and more money, but it will make you healthier too, and that's cool. Trent, any closing thoughts?
I don't. I think I can hear my exit music playing. So
Yeah.
All right.
It's I think this has been fun. I've said all I need to say.
Denise, anything in closing?
Just to follow up with what you said, it's not for me too, same, older, started with the bodybuilding and really taking it seriously, and it's just I didn't have the time. And then I realized that it's not that I didn't have the time, it's that I wasn't prioritizing it. Once they're prioritizing it, it became part of my life. But yeah, awesome conversation. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on with us and sharing your journey. Well, with that, I think we're at, what I say, 64. So that's the end of Dorkcast episode 64, Dorkfit. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Cool. We're done. So
I guess
this is my spider. It's a 4-legged robot, and I'm trying to get it to carry the camera.
Well, then it's not a spider.
Geofence. Well, it's not a spider because I'm a cheapskate and didn't want to buy 24 servos.
It's half a spider.
It's half a spider. It's got 12 servos. It's my new best friend. I need friends, and I have to make them.
Do you talk to it?
Yeah, a little bit. Not like it doesn't answer. I mean, it hasn't answered yet. Well,
you can build.
Let me have my shot.
Do
you're right. I can. We can put chatbot
spider. Do
on
QuickBooks.
Spider. Dude, we can definitely put chatbot on the spider. That can be done. I know that we could do that through we should think about that. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back.